Welcome back, one and all, to the WoW Lorerun, which is no longer being delayed by extended maintenance. I actually logged on as soon as I can, just in case they had issues with the authentication servers or something. It's okay, we're only about 2 hours late here. That's actually not too bad. Okay. Right!
Let us visit for a while.
So let us continue. I have the meat. My people are in great need. Well, yeah, obviously. Thank you.
Good hunting.
Isleruk, the spirit of war, is depicted as a silver eagle by my people. Our stories tell of how Isleruk fought against 100 wargs to save his young. It is time for us, too, to fight against our foes to save our brethren. We will need to craft new weapons. The horns of the Frostwing Chimera that make their home in the snowy parts of the islands are excellent to make spears out of. I am feeling better, Alex, but I sound worse. Like my own voice is bothering me. You know what I mean? Ah, good, Deutsch. I didn't even know you had asthma, but I am glad that that is being resolved. Okay, so let's go ahead and help these guys out. Yep. It's funny you ask that, Zowan Joker. Considering the fact that the Legion actually does and has employed outside contractors, I feel like there is actually a Fell Reaver somewhere that was constructed by a gnome. So I think we've actually already seen what they would look like. Yeah, mine too, Alex, but more so than usual today. God. Ugh. Darkrai. You know what I have to say about that? This is actually an interesting thing to comment on. So would you believe this is my least successful Lorerun ever? I'm dead serious, by the way. This is my least successful Lorerun I have ever done. The Final Fantasy one, the Dragon Age one, the Mass Effect one, the KOTOR one, the StarCraft one, have all had greater viewing numbers and more donation totals. I have had the least viewers ever during a lore run during the WoW lore run. I was tallying up some of the numbers last night and doing some analytics on that, and it just kind of hit me across the face. I was like, wow, that's really depressing. So I got really depressed, because that's what you do when you hear depressing news. I was like, huh. Okay. Zowan Joker, secret truth here. I actually am Hagen the Unclean. Well, it is kind of logical. This is, oh no, it is actually logical in hindsight, if I'm being 100% honest. WoW's lore is huge. You know, there's so much of it to discuss, and a lot of people just don't have an interest in WoW, and that's fine. You know, there's nothing really wrong with not being interested in WoW. There's nothing really wrong.
Is there something you desire?
Why are they so... Oh, that's why, because I turned the volume way up. There's nothing really wrong with that. It's just, it was such a weird thing to think about, that I am putting more work and effort into this lore run than I have any other lore run ever, and it's my greatest failure. But then I decided, screw it. That was pretty much my mind. I'm not even kidding. That's pretty much exactly what I was like. I was like, you know what, screw it. I love this game. I do. I unabashedly, unashamedly love WoW. It's one of my top 10 games of all time. And I know at least some of my viewers have been enjoying it. And you know what? I have actually had a surprisingly large number of viewers show up, some of whom I never even see before, who show up and say, wow, you've really made me think about the lore of WoW. Or, you've really made this game seem a lot of fun. Or, I never knew about insert lore tidbit here. So you know what? Screw it. Just because we don't have the massive amount of numbers, so that so big freaking companies of doom like Twitch look at me and say, "Oh, you're a failed, pathetic streamer, and you're not worth my time." Screw them. We're here so that the people who are actually interested in this and actually care about this are going to have a good time, because that's the whole point of all of this. So I'm going to keep going. I was actually thinking about quitting. I'm going to keep going, and screw the rest of them. Moving on. Let's talk to Elder Atulakir.
May I help?
It is good to see you again, Blood Elf. You continue to prove your worth as an ally, Valvaxis. Your actions will not be forgotten. Ah! What? Damn it, Lurker. What are you doing? That wasn't a call for donations. That was just me sharing my mindset on things. That was... Wait, hang on, what? 6 for Skittles, 10 for default. Hang on. So that's 6 for this one. Just put it to that. Oh my god! I didn't do the math first. So, this is a thing now. I don't know what to say about that. You continue to prove your worth as an ally. Your actions will not be forgotten. Oh, ding! Hang on.
May your nets
Test guarding.
always be full.
Let's go ahead and do this. No, turn and look at me, man. Oh, come on, hang on. Let's walk over here. Whoops, that's the wrong button. It's for which transmog suit we wear, Darkrai. There we go. Thank you, Cashel. Thank you. That makes me feel better.
My attention.
The totem of Isilruk is ready, Valvaxis, and for that I thank you. We must cast our peaceful ways for the aside for the time being, and strike at those who have attacked our land and our kin. The pirate slavers that raided Iskall have lost their minds and slaughtered all of their captives. Go to Iskall, to the east of here, and do what must be done. Take this horn should you need assistance.
Gara Aklika.
But really, really quick, before everything is ruined forever, it's time to finally change out of this terrible outfit. I never should have made this an option. No, wait. Damn it. Let me guess. That's for the terrible outfit. Yep, that's for the terrible outfit. I'm going to rename that terrible outfit, by the way. See you around, Darkrai. There we go. We're just gonna call it that. There we go. Okay. Anyone else want to change it while I'm still here? Because my hearth isn't going to be able to do this again for another 15 minutes. Just asking. I didn't even get a chance to switch back. Oh, god damn it. So I look and I'm like, aha! Yes! We're saved! At long last, we will never have to use the terrible outfit. No, he put it towards the terrible outfit, so, sigh. I'm gonna go ahead and, make this more clear. Actually, there's no room for that, is there? Screw it, we'll just name the terrible outfit terrible outfit. We'll leave the rest there. Because it is natural magic, Dakota. We are naturally... I don't know. Hearthstones aren't actually a thing in lore. They are a purely gameplay mechanic. Well, since that's just locked in, I'm just going to go ahead and start heading back here. Now you might think, why aren't you going to the Undercity? Well, the Undercity is possible to be faster if we get good timing on the boats. If we don't get good timing on the boats, then it would actually be slower than what I'm doing right now. And you might be like, oh, Harsh, you can't possibly know that. No, I totally can. I've done the numbers. I seriously used to do that. I used to time how long it took to take certain actions in this game. Because I am an incredibly impatient bastard. While we're in flight... one of the things I like about the Tuskar, the walrus people, if you will, that we were just interacting with, is that they're an interesting culture that's basically just a normal culture. You know what I mean? Like, they're not really... They're not a culture of hats, you know what I mean? Unless you count fishing, but I don't actually count that. A lot of their society revolves around fishing, but that's like saying a lot of our society revolves around the internet. It's true, but it's not our hat. It's just a logical progression of our current environment. The Tuskar literally live on the coasts. How do they live on the coasts? Because of the fact, or why do they live on the coast? Because it's the only place that's actually safe and defensible and resource productive for them. The Tuskar have never gone further inland because further inland would be terrible for them. There's much, much worse things further inland. And they want to have that bounty of the sea, which they're so good at. So it is logical, right, to have the coastal fortresses, the coastal cities. Okay? With me so far? That's the first reason. Second thing, they are actually a very peaceful race, except when they're not. And when they're at war, they're actually a very violent race, except when they're not. Will it look like the one from Batman Forever, Kay? There are less fish inland, that's true. But my point is, the Tuskar are actually a fairly fleshed out, in-between, gray sort of a race, you know? There's nothing really defining about them. And that's actually cool. I like that. They're like, we must try in all things to have peace with one another, except when things piss us off and kill us. Then we're going to kill the crap out of them. But only until we're done. Then we'll go back to being peaceful. The only thing that really distinguishes them from, an ordinary culture, society of humans or whatever, is the fishing thing. The fact that fishing is so important to their very survival, just their basic survival, that fishing has been improved. Oh, by the way, Grizzly Hills, hoit! Fishing has improved to the point where it's the basis of most of their society, Again, similar to how people will be judged on the internet for example, how you type. If you don't use capitalization or proper punctuation, or if you use lots of symbols and whatnot, you will actually be judged based on the way you do that on the internet. It's the same thing with them. They will judge you based on how you fish, based on what kind of fishing you do. It's a surprisingly one-to-one allegory between the two. Now, Dalaran, I will go ahead and talk about in brief here while I'm doing this quest. Dalaran is actually... Dalaran has always sat at a nexus point of, I believe, 3 ley lines off the top of my head. There's the one in Tirsafal, there's the one up at Keldanis, and then there's one running through Cosmodon. I'm pretty sure those 3 intersect there. There might be more. I'm not sure. Please don't quote me on that. But at least 3 ley lines that I could name, again, right off the top of my head. So those 3 ley lines provide a tremendous power source for Dalaran, right? That is also true, Zoan Joker. That is also true. So what they did is they encased all of Dalaran in a magical stasis bubble, basically. And this stasis bubble was capable of keeping it in one piece. Now that's really important, because for those of you not aware, if you were to just, for example, grab a chunk of land and rip it out of the ground, it would fall apart. I'm not going to go into the physics of why that happens. Just please believe me on this. Physics would cause that island to just crumble bit by bit until it fell apart, and there it goes, right? Especially while it's moving. So they had to maintain a stasis bubble to keep the whole chunk of rock in one cohesive piece, and then they could move Dalaran around. Now, why Dalaran came to Northrend, we'll discuss when we get to the Borean Tundra, because it's much more relevant there. Yeah, yes, that is also true, Psychotic. It's really a shame they cut the quests for that zone, but I'll talk about that when we get there. But yeah, so that's how they did it. They just basically all of the mages. This is actually funny. I've mentioned before how rune magic has the potential to be stronger than regular magic. Dalaran's being moved is a great example of rune magic in action. Because what they did was they crafted many, many, many different runes and cast into them and cast into them. More runes, cast, more runes, cast, cast. Days and days of hundreds of mages channeling all of their mana and all of their energy into this is what managed to do this. This was not a small thing. This was not a little thing that the mages of Dalaran managed. This was a huge accomplishment. So please don't mistake this for me saying that, oh yeah, anyone could just make a floating fortress in WoW. No, they can't. Only really, really skilled and very, very powerful mages who have a lot of time and investment in doing so can make a floating fortress in WoW. Also, as an interesting side note, it's an interesting parallel between that and the necropoli that the Scourge use. For example, again, it took all that massive, tremendous, incredible amount of energy to get up Dalaran and move it. A necropoli? Nowhere near as much of an issue. Which they do on purpose, by the way, to try and emphasize how advanced, magically speaking, that the necropoli, or the Scourge in general are. Just food for thought on that one. Anyways, let's go ahead and kill some slavers. I don't think Maligos could do that by himself, no. I think he could do it. I just think he'd have to do basically the same thing the Dalaran mages did, you know what I mean? I'm sorry, Brigwin. I didn't say you can't, Taquita. I said that it would take you a tremendous amount of work and effort. You totally could. In fact, one of the things I actually would really love to see in Legion or in the future is, you know, we were talking about the concept of, like, housing and whatnot. Imagine having a floating freaking chunk of land as a house. Remember, one of the main reasons that Dalaran was so difficult to raise is it's a freaking city! It's an entire, massive, in-depth, huge, magical city. For God's sakes. Lifting up like a house into the sky, way easier. Still would take some effort, but way easier. The Vortex Pinnacle is actually kind of a different situation. Technically, the Vortex Pinnacle is not actually floating up there. And I kind of want to save that more if we get there, but to summarize, that's more a matter of dimensional shift, is what's happening there. It's not actually floating up in the airs of Azeroth. It's more like part of the elemental plane of air has blended into Azeroth. I don't remember. The one Joker.
I will hear you. Visit again when you can.
So, now that we have saved the Kaluak, the tall,
Yes, Shalosh.
proud, walrus people of amazing.
May
We'll go
your
grab that
nets
quest for later.
always be full.
Lappa, really? Takoida does have a point, though. Don't forget that there's in as well as on for Dalaran. So there's the city, and then there's all this stuff down here, so... Deutsch, here's a question. So here's the problem. Most people don't realize how insanely powerful real-life military forces are. I know that sounds like a weird thing, but it's true. One of the most common tropes in all of fiction... yes, Schmeidel, sorry, I saw that question earlier, and I spaced it. Yes, the Tuskars are native, near as we can tell. There's no information to show that they're not. They're not a seed race, in other words. The real-life military, you know, in so much of fiction, it's like, oh, guns are useless, and oh, our artillery does nothing compared, you know, Godzilla's just destroying everything, to use a simple example of that. And of course, there's reasons for that. But when you actually look at the physics of real-life military, and what we can do right now, militarily speaking, it's actually insane. Real-life military is stupid strong. It's actually a little bit scary how strong it is. I am amazed that we don't live in a wasteland right now. Now, that being said, magic in my general concept, magic is equal to technology. Not superior, not inferior. Equal. Okay? So that means very, very powerful magic could invalidate very, very powerful technology. In fact, Warcraft itself adheres to this same philosophy. I've talked about this before. Something that is very strong technologically can beat something that's very, that's weaker magically, and vice versa. We'll see this in Warlords. It's one of the reasons the Iron Horde is such a threat, for God's sakes. So, with sufficient magical power, and trust me, there is a lot of sufficient magical power in Warcraft, I think Warcraft would stomp the unholy hell out of the real-life military. Because, number one, they're a little bit more accustomed to a state of total war across the vast majority of the people, and number two, while we have nukes, they have the ability to wipe out planets. So, I think their power would trump ours, especially if we were fighting like all of Warcraft United. We would never win that. We might make a bit of a wasteland as we're going through it, but no, we would lose. Also, just as an aside, all of that wonderful military power we have, that is all technology. Now, if you don't understand why that's significant, let's say for a moment that, I don't know, a few Scourge managed to plague bomb an entire battalion of tank troops. Congratulations! The Scourge now has an entire battalion of tanks! The people with the knowledge and ability to join it, to function and work those tanks too. That's ignoring the fact that the Old Gods can corrupt, Fel can corrupt differently, Void can corrupt, it's similar to Old God corruption, and there's actually a genuine capacity to mind control in Warcraft settings. And multiple forms of mind control. So, yeah, no. What powers those tanks? I don't know. Gas? What powers a tank in real life? I haven't kept up on tanks since World War II, if I'm being honest. T-52 for life, by the way. Okay, so let's go ahead and start doing the pirate quests. I'd just like to say, I love the pirate quests. What doesn't corrupt? Cookies. Honestly, Meadfist, given human history, in my personal, honest opinion, I think we are still lucky that those in control have not decided to cross that line. And actually, by the way, they do have gas, yeah. They've got oil. They've got ships that run on oil. Remember, Warcraft is actually a very high-tier setting overall. Very, very high magic and relatively high technology. They did actually, legitimately, have a spaceship. And I'm not talking about the Naru ship. I'm talking about the Goblin ship that they actually built to soar through space. That's a thing. The presumption I had, QQ, was that we would not be able to use what they had because we don't have the ability to use magic. We don't. It's not a thing, right? So we can't do mind control. We can't do Fel corruption. We can't do void infusion. We can't do any of that crap. All we've got is what we have now. But because of what they have, they can take what we've got. So yeah, like I said, no, Warcraft would win. Warcraft would crush us like a bug. The only requirement would be for Warcraft to be motivated to win, I guess is the best way to say that. What I mean by that is if real-life military... actually, they do, Kay, yes. If real-life military... only in some places, though, Kay. Was like in the best possible situation. All of the tactical knowledge of Warcraft. We know everything about what they're doing. We know all of their personal leadership. And they didn't know we even existed. So we've got the advantage of surprise on our side. And they weren't unified. And they weren't prepared. And they didn't know we were coming. That evens the scales considerably. And we have a much bigger chance at doing enough damage quickly to either force a settlement or to win. Still a bit of a though. Deutsch, you have opened Pandora's box, by the way. So this is Silver Moon Harry. As you can tell, he's actually wearing a robe of the Silver Moon there.
Hello.
Wait,
See
hang
you
on.
around.
Blood Elf treasure's unlike any other. It's not just the gold or the silk or the gems. Cinder Eye craftsmanship is valuable in and of itself. He raises an eyebrow. So you're like me, huh? A little eccentric? Nobody dresses like that around here. Okay, this quest is really funny given the outfits the one Joker has forced me to wear here. Look at what I'm wearing. Nobody dresses like that around here. About those artifacts. Everyone that came into contact with that stuff has ended up dead, missing, or both. If you're interested in learning more, I can help you, but it'll cost you. You scratch my back, and I'll try not to stick a dagger in yours. One of the first things Jonah Sterling did after he went crazy, and was to take my prized Cinder Eye scrying crystal and feed it to the bane of my existence, Scoodles, the orca. No, I didn't name the damn thing. I just know that she swims out past the ships, directly southeast of the Scalawag. Kill that overinflated goldfish and rip out my frickin' crystal from its stomach. Do this and we can get down to business.
Have a good one.
I actually heard about that, Cashel. I am hopeful, cautiously. Yeah, he could stab us in the back very easily here. No, Deutsch, come back! Oh, well, that sucks. I've made my fortune specializing in treasure that regular pirates don't appreciate. Art, antiquities, collector's pieces. Black Conrad's fleet sank south of here years ago. All the gold and jewelry was picked up clean by divers, but two ancient relics remain there. One is a museum-quality Amani vase, the other is an eagle figurine. Go and retrieve them for me, and I'll even vouch for you with the other pirates. Oh, I'll throw something in to make your underwater adventure a little bit more manageable.
See you later.
So, let's go ahead and just get this out of the way really quick. For those of you not aware, in real life, pirates are some of the worst human beings ever to exist. Ever. Across all of history. They are disgusting, horrible, depraved, worthless, terrible, nightmarish, awful beings. They don't deserve to exist, and in many cases, they themselves are just as miserable as the people that they torture and rape and pillage and otherwise do terrible, disgusting things to. Okay? Okay, we got that asterisk out of the way. Can we actually get back to fantasy for a moment? Fantastic. So in fantasy, for reasons that are actually easy to explain, pirates tend to be romanticized. There are two main reasons, I think, for the romanticization of pirates. Reason number one, this is the most important reason. Nobody wants to think about how disgustingly horrible, terrible, blah, 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 that pirates actually were. It was really bad. Like, really. Really bad. I mean, oh my god. So, nobody really wants to consider that, and I don't blame them. I don't want to think about that either. Second, and slightly more important reason, ignoring the fact that we tend to romanticize a lot of things in real life, and I'm okay with that, by the way, to make that clear. As long as we acknowledge the reality, there's no problem with romanticizing it. Reality sucks, as we all know. The other big reason, though, is I think there's something appealing about the general concept of being a pirate. The idea of being out and sailing the seas and being able to take what you want and have the freedom to go enjoy your life and live life for the moment and that kind of thing. It's not that unusual to understand and appreciate that kind of concept. Because I need to rip it open and take its innards out enough. It's nothing personal. So, getting across the point here, these pirates... Why are you sighing, Samurai? These pirates are, obviously, romanticized pirates. These are pirates who like to steal things, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much as bad as the pirates in Warcraft get. And thus, it's actually kind of funny, because you can kind of actually see the difference between the good pirates and the bad pirates Because the good pirates, basically they just steal stuff and are otherwise illegal. Not necessarily bad, just illegal. You know, smuggling is actually probably the primary thing the good pirates do. The bad pirates, they deal in slaves. And, I mean, obviously slavery is a ridiculously horrible thing, so that makes sense that they'd be the bad pirates. Excuse me. Where is this sucker? Oh, I know where this is. How did I miss it the first time? Yeah, I'm stupid. There we go. So, these North Sea pirates, these are kind of an in-between organization. They're, the North Sea are basically the equivalent of kind of not... Mostly these people are actually pretty decent folk. I know that sounds weird. But these are mostly the more stealing, smuggling-y kind of pirates. The only exception is in their leadership. Their leadership wanted desperately to sell all of the Tuskar into slaves. Now, you might be like, aha! Zoan, we just talked about this. What are you doing, man? Don't make me get technical. I really, really don't like getting technical with my terms. I hate doing that. Especially when I'm already in a bad mood because of a 2-hour freaking extended maintenance. So. Oh, where is this guy? Or it's a girl, actually. So, like I said, the leader of these pirates was like, aha! We shall sell them into slavery! That's not quite his voice, but that's kind of the direction he was thinking. This person right here is the other quote-unquote evil character. Her, and the reason I say she is more evil is the fact that she, excuse me, that she, isn't really, oh god, she's the one. I was like, how, what the hell, man? She isn't actually, she isn't against slavery per se. She just thinks it's really stupid to enslave creatures that make bad slaves. So that's her objection. But everyone else here, they're just decent folks, relatively speaking. And again, these are North Sea. I want to make that point clear because there's actually like 3, I want to see, overall groups of pirates. There's the North Sea, the South Sea, and the Blood Sails. And I guess technically the group whose name I can't think of is also a pirate group, technically. Yes, bad slaves. The Tuskar make terrible slaves because they're very, very specialized in adapting to this environment. They're giant walruses. So if you take a giant walrus into, just to name something out of random, the Plaguelands, or Tanarus, or anywhere in Azeroth, basically, yeah, they're basically going to die, because they're completely unadapted to that environment. That usually qualifies as a bad slave, yes. I also tend to agree with Meadfist. I have no idea why anyone uses slaves other than for the obvious morale concepts. I mean, the Freebooters? Is that the other group? I don't remember. No, Steam... Oh, I guess Steamweedle technically qualifies, but I wasn't counting them. Yeah, they might be okay in certain areas, but overall the Tuskar, they're not adapted to any other environment at all. Quick side note, obviously I'm against slavery, duh. But the Bloodsail, they are pretty much universally the worst of the various pirate groups. They and even they are heavily romanticized to the point where, well, this is a good time to talk about this. Forgive me for stalling for a moment. I just want to talk about this. Given how lacking in word, there are no words in the English language to describe what war is really like in real life. It's bad. And nothing I ever tell you verbally will explain to you how bad war is. There is nothing I can do to explain that to you. It is a terrible, terrible thing. So you might, and I know that. I am also a person who has experienced violence in his real life. I've had people beat the crap out of me. I've had to go to the hospital for injuries I've sustained for someone who has actually tried to knock me over the head with a 4x4. It sucks. Real-life violence is not fun. It's not interesting. It's not engaging. It's a terrible thing. I love World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft. And I've talked about this before, but I have not talked about it during the lore run, so forgive me for the repetition for those of you who've heard me talk about this. But it is entirely about the way it is presented. If you took all of these so-called positive things from war, the glory, the honor in battle, and the fighting, and the strength, and testing yourself, and becoming a man, all that fun stuff, and removed the negative things, you basically have Warcraft. Whenever Warcraft goes into the more negative effects of things, even the negative aspects of war and conflict are usually talked about in a... Thank you, God Mode. Are usually talked about in a romanticized manner. They're talked about in a manner as if it was a part of a story. Now, if you don't understand what I mean by that, I know this sounds horrible, but I want to get this point across. There's a story I once read about a gentleman who had to shoot his wife and his daughter because they were zombies. Now, that's tragic and horrible, but it's still so separated from real life. Now, imagine for a moment you shoot... again, you have to. Imagine zombies exist in real life, and you have to actually shoot your wife or your husband or whatever. It doesn't matter. Your significant other and your child. There are no words in languages that exist on Earth to describe how terrible that is. It's not a thing. There's nothing that can compare to that in real life. So tragedy in fiction and tragedy in reality are worlds apart. So any of the negatives that ever happen in this are negatives that still have that coat of shine over them. On purpose, I might add. Because they don't want you to actually think about what it would be like to have these horrible, terrible things happen. They want you to think about the tragedy of it, the sadness of it, the grief of it, the drama of it, to explain for the story. But it's always going to be detached because that's the point. Right? Yeah, let's not even talk about how in real life, when you're at war, most of the time you're not getting killed by enemy soldiers. That's true even today. Or I shouldn't say today, but in the last decade or so. Excuse me. So, getting back to my point, this was brought up to my mind because we were talking about the Blood Sail, the Blood Sail Buccaneers, right? They're evil. In Warcraft sense. In real life, they'd barely be common criminals. There is so much worse than the Bloodsail Buccaneers in real life. They are nowhere near as bad as stuff I've seen myself in real life. That I have personally experienced. Never mind stuff I am aware of in real life. You know? That's one of the benefits of fiction. One of the things I hate so much is when someone will blast something or will say, oh, this is terrible because it's not realistic. Now, I get that some people want more actual realism in their fiction, and that's fine. That's their taste. But for the rest of us, I want as little realism as possible in my fiction. I want something that is believable, that adheres to itself, that adheres to its own concepts and its own canon and whatnot. But in no way, shape, or form is like real life. Because real life sucks. Real life has worse things in it than anything I have ever encountered in fiction. And I mean that sincerely. The Burning Legion, they are nothing compared to things in real life. So this is my overall point, just a little bit of perspective. When I say the Bloodsail Buccaneers are evil pirates, trust me when I say that is in Warcraft terms, not in real life terms. I just wanted to talk about that.
Hey there.
So, we have returned his crystal to him. He takes it from you, and he gently pets it. Oh, my precious, did the big mean whale hurt you? It'll be okay. I'll never let you out of my sight again. So where were we?
Safe travels. See you later.
Wait, what? I'm sorry, Samurai. I actually don't know what to say to you. Other than what I want to say, which I'm not going to. So I'm just going to say I'm sorry.
How are you?
Actually, God mode, science fiction appeals to a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. And and I'm not going to go into it. Oh my god, because that's killing me. So, us pirates are known for many things, but hygiene isn't one of them. Most pirate ships tend to be carrying 5 or 6 as many rats as people. It's no wonder all the bears on this island caught rabies soon after we moved in. Long story short, the boss wants them all dead. It just so happens I know a recipe for bear musk fragrance popular among Stormwind nobles. We kill the bears, sell the musk. I see a business opportunity. What do you say?
See you around.
Yeah, sure, why not?
What brings you here?
I heard you did a little work for Terry. I was hoping someone reliable would show up around these parts. See, pirates love to gamble. They, however, do not love to pay their gambling debt. If you're interested in collecting some coin, I'm willing to give you a cut. Let's start you off with an easy one. Silver Moon Harry's a bit of an eccentric, keeps all sorts of expensive blood elf knickknacks inside his tent. Yet when I see him, he always pretends to be broke. Go get my gold.
Winds be at your back.
Yeah, I've been there too, with regards to samurai. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. You know what? There's no need to count.
Good day to you.
Those artifacts are cursed. You'd be crazy to go looking for them. I know for certain that anyone that's come into direct contact with those items has either gone mad or been killed. Take that staff, for example. Last I heard, the ship that held it was abandoned and left to rot on the coast of the Isle of Spears north of here. If you want that thing, check the ship's hold, but whatever you do, don't bring the staff back here. And steer clear of Abdul. He'll tear your heart out.
Safe travels.
Some say Jonah was never quite right in the head, but I know the truth. It was that heart, that damn frozen heart. I saw the change in him the second he pulled it from the grave. I could see the blood freeze in his veins. That's when the madness really took over. He left us to hole up in his cave on the north side of the island. Last I heard, he'd thrown the heart in the back of his little bear den. Too little, too late. And I'll kill you myself if you even think about bringing that heart back here.
Have a good one.
If you listen real close, you can hear cannon fire coming from the northeast. That's Captain Ellis's ship, Sister Mercy. Thing is, Ellis and his entire crew were killed about a month ago. Yeah, ghost ship. If you want to be known about the shield, Ellis is the man to ask. Sister Mercy's on the docks. There's no shortage of souls around these parts.
See you later.
I was on the vessel when that was bringing in the armor. No, I just got out of the shower. We just boarded the ship and was heading back here when we were attacked by a Forsaken destroyer. They boarded our ship, took all the booty, and sunk her. That's the last I'd seen of that armor. If you want, you can take my bomber from Scalawag to the Dreaded Isle, to the destroyer heat docked. Talk to my woman, and she'll get you in on the bomber.
Safe travel.
Okay, I will talk to your woman. But first,
What can I do for you?
you owe some money.
Have a good one.
Don't test me, scurvy dog! I'm trained in the ways of the Bloodlight Knights. You can tell, look, he's got a Blood Elf sword and shield. In fact, those are literally the tutorial gray weapons that you start with as a Blood Elf Paladin. So let's hit him twice. There we go. I'll pay. Please
Good
don't
day
hurt
to
me.
you. See you around.
Thank you. Of course they do, Kay. Why wouldn't they? Where's his woman? Oh, there she is. So there's his woman. This is great. So you notice she's in Blood Elf armor. But the best part is she literally has a Blood Elf mask on. She's human, if you can't tell. Yeah, she,
Can I help you?
The only way Harry will even talk to me is if I have this stupid mask on all the time.
See you around.
Look, I get being into a certain type of thing, but, I mean, really? Forcing your significant other to wear a mask all the time? Because they're the wrong species? But yeah, the Forsaken have, well, okay, I wouldn't say the Forsaken have always been a naval power. However, pretty much ever since Sylvanas took over, they've been becoming a naval power because it would be required to go after Northrend. To Koida, 2 reasons. 1, because I'm showing you guys the quests, and 2, the in-character reason. See, there's a very cool graveyard right up here. It's actually specifically a Kvaldir graveyard. I'll discuss that later. Yes, it is Permeus. And these pirates, who, again, I stress, are more like thieves and smugglers, decided to go grave robbing a bit. And again, on the list of bad things to happen, grave robbing is pretty minor, really. So we went and started going through the graves, and sure enough, oh my god, the graves have been cursed forever, and now horrible, horrible things are happening because there's this massive curse on these items. So we're trying to get these items back, trying to get them back to the grave so that we no longer have to have this terrible curse. So that's why we're interacting with the pirates, because the pirates had the cursed items. I stress had, because, yeah. Exactly psychotic, but only in the world of Warcraft. Which is kind of my point. So if you can't tell what all of this is actually to emphasize that this whole area is frozen. Like the very air is frozen here because of this armor, which is literally just hovering in the air. What the... Yeah, fun fact, this has never become a player mount. Which is surprising, because we have several other more mechanically inclined mounts as player mounts. So I'm not really sure. There we go. Why we don't have this? Worlds Adrift. Has anyone ever heard of the game Worlds Adrift? Because I just got a beta invite through my usual source. Hey, R. Tyler C. Hope I'm saying that right. Welcome to my stream. Glad you're liking it. Well, CK, in real life, that's my point. It's not that big of a deal. That's correct, Psychotic. In Warcraft, that will literally disturb the dead. And so people will, you know, the spirits or the corpses or God knows what else will get up and actually cause trouble. In some cases, quite a lot of trouble. We've seen several examples of this, actually, as we were going throughout Outland, and already we've seen this, like, twice here in Northrend. So, disturbing graves tends to be a bad thing in a setting where the dead are a very real problem. Especially in a continent where the undead rule. Yeah. Hey, Freddy Bobs. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk to this guy. I got your money back, Tarek.
Greetings.
The job well done. Here's your cut. There's more where that came from. There's no shortage of deadbeats on this island. Our next customer, Jack Adams, won't be the pushover Harry was. He spends all day drinking with his friends. Tough pirates, all of them. Let's not use force this time. It could get ugly. See if he can use his drinking habit to your advantage. There's only so much alcohol someone can have before passing out. Maybe one of the bar wenches will be of assistance. See you around, Ezra. Once he's out, see if you can get your ship to... If you can slip your hand into his pocket and
We shall meet again.
Well, let's head over here. How can we get a pirate even more drunk? There's Jack Adams, literally dancing on the table. I've got an idea. Let's talk to the wench over here.
Hey there.
Excuse me. I'd like to buy Jack a drink. Maybe something extra strong. And she says, "You're going to pull off a stunt in front of all his boys? That takes a good amount of stupidity. Well, it's going to cost you. I'm not going to risk my life for anything less than the gold. You best move out, wait until I'm out of the way before you make a move." Okay, here is a gold.
Safe travels.
Ah, gotcha, Bragon. I'll have to look into that some more. Who ordered the spiced rum? Was it you, Jackie boy? Sure thing, love, and put it on Harry's tab, will ya? He owes you a drink. It's okay, sweetheart. This one's on the house. Free rum? Why, that's my favorite kind! Oh, and he's out. Oh my god, let me check his pulse! Yep, checking his pulse. Yep, nope, he's alive. It's okay, guys. I can't even whistle right now. What the heck? There we go.
I've been expecting you.
I'm impressed. I'm not the kind who's easily impressed. You might have heard of the Black Conrad. He's actually kind of a famous pirate around these parts. Well, he had a thing for gambling on my fights. He had a thing for not paying, too. I know, right, Venters? His pulse is... I'd love to collect, but the trouble is, he's dead. I was ready to write off the whole thing when I came across this. He points to a map. He hid his treasure on Tuscar land. I want you to go get it. I'll be damned if I let that bilge sucker get away without paying, just because he's dead. He's freaking dead. I want to re-stress that point. He's still collecting on his debt. Of course, that's not exactly new. We did that in Outland, too, if you remember. God mode. Stop trying to link... Shoot, I think I need to unban God mode now. Whoops, that's the wrong thing. Unban. There we go. Fixed.
Need assistance?
Because links are currently a bannable offense, God mode. Because we've had to crank up the security. See around the one Joker. Because of the amount of bots and jackasses we've been having during this run. So, this is a gnome with a snappy hat. I gotta get the deck swabbed spotless before Mad Jonah comes around, and I ain't gotta do it on my hands and knees neither. Problem is, we're all out of soap. That's more your problem than mine, though. Being the newbie around here, I got a special trip for you to make. Up on the northwest corner, there's a whole mess of sea lions. Nearby, you'll find the Alpha Bull, Big Roy. Bring me his blubber, and I'll magic up the best soap you've ever seen.
Alrighty then.
That's right, we're gonna go kill a large walrus for soap. Anyways. Now, one thing I want to talk about really quick is you might wonder why they're talking with such familiarity with being in Northrend. I mean, the logical conclusion is, haven't we just recently come to Northrend? Well, the players have just recently come to Northrend, but try to keep in mind, Northrend was actually a very common trade port, especially this actual specific area, right around here with the Howling Fjord. For years, humans and dwarves actually lived up here for some time, and so quite a few of the less than legal people would kind of come around and be like, use this as a safe port of call. The overall point here is that this particular outpost that the pirates are running, this is not new. This is actually a outpost they've used before. Try to remember, these are the these are the North Sea, not the South Sea pirates. The South Sea pirates, they do stuff more down around Tannerus, and I think there's a little bit of them around Stranglethorn. I can't remember. Because I know the Bloodsail are the primary people around Stranglethorn. Also, these are pretty well-off people for being pirates. They actually have a pirate fleet, a total of 4 ships. Now, I know what you're thinking, oh, whoop-de-crap, 4 ships. Think for a moment what it's like being an independent group that doesn't have the backing of a military or a government, and having a ship. They are actually pretty well off, relatively speaking. All the way up until they decided to grave rob. I mean, really, the grave robbing is what basically screwed these people over. Where is this guy? should be, like, right there. I think the other guy just killed him. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. Of course they do, Takoida. Why wouldn't they? Yep, there's his corpse. Well, let's go do this one while we wait. Yeah, 4 ships and a crew to run them is fantastic. Also, the North Sea pirates may be practically crippled by the events that happen here. And it's all because of the fact that they decided to grave rob those Rykul that I mentioned earlier. They look awesome, Kay. That's not useless. So, as you can see, even the pirates are risen up as the dead. Some people have argued that this is only because of the fact that this is Northrend. I personally don't think that's true. I think it's because of the fact that he's a pirate. I mean, that just makes sense. Pirate ghosts are such a thing, you know. Oh yeah, there's plenty, R. Tyler. R. Tyler C. There's quite a few, yes. I've been mentioning a few as we go along, but almost all of them have to do with BC, back when they weren't really coordinated writing-wise. Also, Blackbeard was awesome in Assassin's Creed 4. Just saying. There we go. Okay. Yeah, the dragon aspects. Okay, so relatively recently, they decided to retcon a certain aspect about the aspects as a way to line up to Legion. I'm trying not to spoil that yet, especially since I have other times to talk about that. But put as simply as I can, there's a little bit more lore to Galakrond and to the origination of the aspects than we thought of until relatively recently. I think Legion will stack up very well lore-wise. Unfortunately, a lot of stuff was spoiled for me about Legion, so I kind of gave up and just started actively spoiling stuff about Legion for myself. They're going out of their way to tie up a lot of plot threads across all of WoW. Stuff from all over the place they're trying to tie up in Legion. And I think that's a good thing, especially since there's so many plot threads that are still dangling in Legion. So I'm looking forward to all of them.
Hi, how are ya?
Where's that blubber? And don't try to tell me he ain't got none, either. That big boy's so damn big, it's a wonder he can still galumph around. Ew, that's a stink. Go on, put it right there. I'll cast my spell.
You have a great day now.
I love this idea, by the way. This is a mage. This is a mage pirate. This is a mage pirate who uses her incredible magical power to clean the ship. Yes, I do, R. Tyler. And Nightbot just linked it, so there you go. I'm sorry, but something I've always enjoyed, and I think Kay might actually agree with me on this, I've always enjoyed the idea of, you know, awesome power being used for very mundane things. Something about that just appeals to me.
You need something?
Have you got the bear musk for me, mighty? Excellent work. It might not be quite as daring as plundering the high seas, but I'd be a darn son of a deck swabber if I passed up on this opportunity. Our second-in-command, Annie Bond, has been acting rather paranoid of late. She seems to think we have an infiltrator on our ranks. Can you believe that? Anyway, we have a foolproof way of uncovering rats around these parts. Good old Zenga over here happens to be an authentic witch doctor. His family hails from Zul... something or other. Go let him know we're in need of his divination skills. I gotta warn you, only one or two of us can understand anything Zenga says.
See you later.
Before we talk to Zenga, I want to turn in this debt here.
Hail.
I'll take the gold, as it's what Conrad owed me. The rest is for you to keep. If you ever need of something more permanent, I can arrange for something. In the meantime, may the wind blow strong in your sail, friend.
May the eternal sun shine.
Yay, gems that I don't want. Alright, so
Do it, man.
I'm going to do my best with this voice, forgive me. It's a true, matey, not tougher salts anywhere but the North Sea freebooters, ya so man. Best not bridles as mighty man. Scope a dot, if that swabs to get a kiss of Gunner's daughter, mate. Could hear, mate, you come see for an eye and I. It's like this, man. You be wanting to help and spot the craven or big wire been caught in the crew. You gotta be being me croaker, matey. After I need you to get the blogger, man. Now, the croaker told ye, you give the coup for yourself at the dead flights, Yasu. Bring us the carve of Yasu, a step of galang boku.
Stay away from the voodoo.
There's actually a name for that dialect in real life. I can't think of it. It's in Grand Theft Auto 4 as well. I actually have a pretty I understand that relatively well, because I actually knew a guy who talked like that all the way back in Southern California. And so you just kind of get used to it after a while. It's a lot of unique slang, basically. Oh, your questions are fine, Art Tyler. I talk to my viewers all the time. What new classes would I like to see? I actually have 3 that I would like to see. Number 1, I would love to see a pure Necromancer summoning class. Although, from what I understand, that's... Number 2, I'd love to see a pure buffer and debuffer style class. Maybe like a Rune Master or something like that. And 3, I would love to see a like a ranged mechanical tank kind of a class. I think that would be really awesome. Spellbreaker would also work for a buffer debuffer.
How are you?
You didn't understand a thing Zenga said? Well, of course not. Let's see then. Let's see. He needs a knife. What else? Oh, hang on. I guess I just read this. Some of our pirates here, we have our own special way of talking. His has many different special ways of talking, all mixed together. From what I can tell, he wants a frog and a knife. Silver Moon Harry might have a knife on the cheap, and there's frogs all around town. I'd hate to be put in that poor critter's shoes, if you know what I mean.
See you around.
I tilt my head at you, Samurai.
What can I do for you?
I'll take the shiny knife, and I'll sell you this stuff, because screw you. Take my gems.
Have a good one.
And I need a frog. Come here, frog. So this is funny. I'm about to talk to a troll who probably has some voodoo magic, and I'm going to give him a frog and a knife. What do you guys think is about to happen?
What's be on your mind?
So, Cool over yonder, matey, the scurvy bulb will be all up in Quash's face. That hardy is why we're gonna get the Sawney keyhole made into Duppy Mon. You got the croaker, the carver? Much obliged. Croaker looking real crisp.
Be seeing ya.
Coo into me carver, ya croaker. Coo and tell me who dares cross me, brethren. See, what he's actually doing is he's shining the light off of the knife in order to mesmerize the frog and get it to work the voodoo that way. I like the nice little twist on expectations here. Because a lot of people, myself included, were like, oh god, he's gonna... And then innards, and then... But no, it's fine.
What you want?
Frog's okay. Croaker be spoken, matey. Crowlag Don's on the ship yonder. Best go tell that blackguard mon. Get him in his no feet be crossed. Gone with Taria's keelhaul tis behind.
You be careful, man.
You got it. Hey, you. You are a traitor.
What can I do for you?
The frog says you're a traitor.
For the Alliance.
Curse that frog! Yes, I joined the South Sea crew. You want to make something of it? I'll cut you down right here and now. By the way, the North Sea and the South Sea absolutely hate each other. They are pretty much as... I can't even think of equivalent. They're worse than the Horde of the Alliance. There we go.
Hey there.
That's some bad news. Dan was an old friend, and he owed me money. Either way, if he was working with the South Sea, he deserved what he got. Or he got what he deserved. As for you, my friend, you're on your way up. Literally. All the good work you've done for us hasn't gone unnoticed. Our second-in-command, the delightful Annie Bond, is incredibly impressed with what you've done so far and wants to meet with you.
Safe travel.
By the way, and I really hate to bring this up, but just to really add it to something I mentioned earlier, you know how you can tell these pirates are a lot better than real-life pirates? They are equally male and female without issue. Just saying. And you think, you know what? I'm gonna add one other thing to this. You see this woman here, Olga, the wench. She is unmolested, verbally, physically. No, they leave her alone. Yeah, I'll take these pirates any day. Thanks. So let's talk to I was reminded of this because I'm talking to the person who's about to take command of the entire North Sea freebooters.
Good day to you.
That would be Annie Bond, a woman.
How are you?
Well. If it isn't Valvaxis. You show up at Scalawag Point. No one's heard of you except some goblin friend of that half-wit Terry. Let's just say I'm a little bit skeptical of your intentions here. I know why you're here. You've been sent to kill our leader, Jonah Sterling. I'd like to offer my help. Jonah's leadership threatens our operations. Attacking the Horde and the Alliance fleet simultaneously? Suicidal. Trying to steal Tusker slaves when they die days after leaving this climate? Disastrous. Jonah's hideout is located in a cave behind west of here. Bring me his spyglass as proof of the deed, and my first action as leader will be to end all attacks against your allies.
See you around.
So, this is an interesting little bit of politics here, actually. We're going to help her take over the entire group of the North Sea freebooters, and she will in turn make sure that she no longer is antagonistic towards the Alliance, the Horde, and the Tuskar, who, if you'll remember, were actually primarily here on behalf of the Tuskar. So that's a nice bargain, I'd say. Oops, I went too low. Some of these are probably Northrend natives. Like I said, several humans and dwarves are native to Northrend. You'll never get me spyglass, you bilge sucker. Now, I know you can't quite see what he's doing, but he's jumping into his pit. And his pit has his pet. And his pet is eating him alive. His pet is that sucker, the bear. I don't know how we got a bear this big down here, don't ask. So we kill the bear so we can get to his spyglass, which happens to be on him and the bear, yeah. You can kind of see the little feeding trough he's got there for his bear. It's kind of gross. And if we go all the way back here, we get the Kvaldir artifact. Well, the main reason, Leander, is because of the fact that the guy who was their leader, Jonah, the guy I just killed, was both an idiot and insane. I hope that that answers your question. Better question. Why would the Horde and the Alliance fight each other on Northrend? Because they're idiots or insane. Ah! Damn it, Samurai. What are you doing? I must defeat Samurai. It's the only way. But, oh, he's here again. Here, I'll go ahead and show you what happened from the upper perspective this time. See, he's like, no! You'll never get my spyglass. I'll escape through the feeding trough. Because that's a great idea. And then he gets eaten alive, like I mentioned. He's not alive for very long, so don't worry. Why would I change the sound, God Mode? It's awesome. Oops. Yay! Normal's winning. And the one Joker just left. Guys, the one Joker just left. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go switch really quick. out of the transmog. No! Someone Joker's right there! No! No! Quick! 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 Rush! Run! Run! Must be normal for more than 1 second! Yeah! Transmog! Quick! Quick! Undo! Revert! 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 Revert everything! Revert everything! Quick! Quick! Oh god, there, apply! Yes! Behold! We have armor on! Behold! Oh, I've never been so happy to have armor on. Okay, I feel better. Now I'm just going to wait here, because I predict within a matter of minutes this is going to go back to being the other suit. Yeah, let's go get somewhere there's some more light so you can really see. The armor! Oh, bad direction. There we go. The armor! Behold! Valvaxis is all powerful. Sort of. She doesn't actually have matching gloves or boots because there's no heirlooms for those. Oh my gosh. There it is. See, I was just waiting for that one. Okay, I can be normal for an hour. Thank you, Zoan. I appreciate your kindness. Let's go ahead and push this higher. I'm going to get rid of this. That's just a joke, really. So, 1 hour. What's the time right now? Ah! At 2, or no, I guess at 3 o'clock, we will... Except more money has been donated to that. Damn it! There. Oh my god! Well, hi, Scadison. First of all, thank you all of you for the donations. I appreciate it. Scadison and, Scadison and Nico and Zawan and Samurai and Grey. Well, thank you all of you for your donations. Thank you also, Bragwin, for your donations. Damn it, we haven't actually had a bidding war this, like, entire Lorerun. Thank you, God Mode. I appreciate it. Scadison, you didn't actually tell me what you wanted to put it towards. So I can't tally that. Bragwin put it here. Donation storm! Some of you will get that joke. And then God Mode put it towards this. So put that up to there. Oh, gotcha, Scadison. Okay, so that would be, how much did you put in for that? Alright, there we go. Papyrus. If I had any skill in making GIFs, I'd consider it, Nicolas. I totally would, legitimately. Okay, right, what am I doing? I'm going back to Lorerun. Right. Did I already... I think I did. Hang on, let me check something really quick. Yep, we're good. Okay. So... one of the things that I don't understand what you mean by that, Nico, but thank you, I guess. Yeah, I'm safe until Friday. Seriously, someone Joker. I do appreciate all that you've donated. Absolutely. And you're welcome, Nico. I'm glad I'm having a positive impact on the world, because that's kind of the goal. Different race. No, we haven't, Takota. I'm not sure what to discuss about that. So different races run differently because they're different races. But when they made Night Elves, they had them to do this little jump, spin through the air, and everyone was like, and so Night Elves became super popular because they had the spin jump. So they gave Blood Elves the swirl jump and Worgen the backflip jump. And yeah. And of course, Worgen look like they're loping. It's great. They're like, must go and kill everything. Whereas Draenei look like they're basically jogging. Briskly trying to get where they're going. Humans look like they're just kind of doing this weird halfway dance. It's weird. Dwarves are awesome. Dwarves are like, yeah, we're going, because we're dwarves. And I almost knocked over my drink. I shouldn't do that. I'd hate to do that, because I'm a dwarf. Noxoramus is still awesome. Just not as awesome. So here's a fun little factoid. Did you know that lots and lots of people complained about the new Noxoramus in Northrend? Now, I'm sorry. Obviously, people like to complain about quite literally everything in World of Warcraft, but the token, the direction of their complaints always struck me as odd. Their big complaint was it was too easy. Now, in the interest of total honesty, this Noxoramus is way easier than 40-man Noxoramus, and is overall one of the easier raids out there. In 10-man. Now stress that for a moment, because if you did the 25-man Noxoramus, which was effectively a different raid, different mechanics, different setup, it was the equivalent of the heroic mode, normal mode switch. That Noxoramus was actually pretty rough, especially when you first got in there. So I don't know what else to add to that. Of course, the Blizzard, of course, naturally listened to the players, as they always do, even if they shouldn't. And in response to that, they decided to go ahead and introduce something that would become a mechanic henceforth very commonly. That, of course, being the heroic mode selector thing. That became a thing in Ulduar. And finally, the actual heroic mode, normal mode swap that happened as of Trial of the Champions. So, where am I going? What am I doing next? I need to... How to get the... Right! I have to do that quest really quick. Yeah, it's such a weird thing when Blizzard listening to the player base is a company, a developer, listening to the player base is generally a bad thing, you know? Shrug. What are you gonna do? Ah! Well, thank you, Nicolas. Would anyone like to guess what Nicolas put that towards? Thank you very much for that donation. Yeah, I'll be showing off all of the heroic modes actually when we get to Ulduar. Well, naturally, he put it towards the terrible outfit that no one else has been donating towards so far. Hang on just a second. There we go. So, I can't actually hearth right now. So as soon as I hearth, I'll go and change from wearing actual armor. Arr! Me and me crew plundered that thar shield. We be trying to get her back from that no-good land-lubbing scallywag, Sorloff! You be coming to help? Arr! Well, you can see we be running a skeleton crew. Sister Mercy be needing another powder monkey to man the big guns on the poop deck. Think you're up for the job, me hearty? Help me, and we'll... help me, crew, take Sorloff down, and we'll split the booty. You can have the shield. We'll get the rest. Whoop, whoop. Ah, we've got a problem, matey. Me gunners have mutinied. Me and the crew be trying to kill Sorlov's keister while dealing with the mutinous gunners down below. You're gonna have to go down below and deal with these mutinous sea dogs and take their blasting powder for the big un up on the poop deck. With you manning the big un, Sorlov is sure to die and give up the booty. See? Skeleton crew. Wah, wah. Here we go. So here's the mutinous sea dog. The literally mutinous sea dogs. So this is actually something that really, really impressed me at the time. This was kind of a new idea tech-wise. It was actually a little buggy when it first came out, too. We are on a moving vehicle right now. Not literally a vehicle, but we are moving through the terrain, and yet we're still moving with it and still being able to calculate things like this. Now, some abilities were kind of weird. For example, if you tried to go ahead and cast a blizzard over here, the blizzard would just kind of slowly move this way as the ship moves, because the blizzard is static to the world, not the ship. Similarly, if you dropped like Death and Decay or anything like that, it would just kind of move around as well. So it's helpful if you're not a class that relies on those abilities. Alright, let's do this. Mutinous sea dogs and giants abound! Here's hoping those treacherous beeld rats learned their lesson. Now be time to man the biggin, hearty! Me crew's gonna get the biggin all primed and ready for you, matey. She's resting snug on the bow, over and on the other side of the ship. Go and man it and be ready when Sorloff is in our sight. So once we take that landlubber down, we'll have to you to recover the booty for us. Seeing as how we can't leave the damned ship. Bring that booty back to me and you'll get your cut. The shield. You know, I could just take all of the treasure. In fact, I kind of like that idea. Bagoom. 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 It's okay, Nicholas. I am still very appreciative. Arr! Take that, you landlubber! Rum and wenches for all! Where's the booty? There's the booty. We need more Daka. Right, there we go. Ah, smartly, me hearty, a deal's a deal. Here's your shield. Me hopes it doesn't curse ye like it did me crew. You don't have to go home, but you can stay here. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. I be certain that there'll be, some that would be interested in getting it back. Now get that thing off me ship! Gosh darn it. Okay, okay. Well, I got dismounted. Hey, that giant is not peaceful. He's evil. He attacks pirates. I mean, come on.
Hello.
Well, Vavaxis, did you get Jonah's spyglass? I can't just take your word for the assassination, you know. I am a pirate, after all. Ah, Jonah Sterling's days are finally over. He never thought this wench would make it. As word of his death spreads amongst the pirates, I will consolidate my leadership. Your allies won't get any more trouble from my crew.
See you later.
There be whalers around this parts, yar. There are whalers around these parts, yes. Mostly the Tuskar, though. They're actually really skilled at it. It's funny. So, I just want you to keep in mind one quest that we did earlier, where we took out that giant walrus to use as soap. Remember that quest? It's like a few minutes ago. Tell me you remember that quest.
Who is this that speaks?
The North Sea pirates slaughtered the Isle's alpha sea lion bull, Big Roy. They made soap from him to clean the decks of their ships. Ugh, now the sea lions won't mate. Help me repopulate their numbers. The reef bulls can be found at the twin shores to the southeast. They crave the tasty reef fish that can be found on the east and west side of the Isles. Take this net, gather enough fish, at least a dozen, to lure a bull across the strait to a cow. What do you guys think? Should we bother to try and help the bulls repopulate? See you around, Samurai. Should we do it?
Travel the wastes with
Should
care.
we assist the great and noble sea bull?
My stock
iron
was hard to
bulls,
come by.
or whatever. Should we help them? Or should we let them suffer
Foreign
forever?
Furu.
Nah, screw 'em. Nobody likes them anyways, am I right? Well, I'm sure they'll be fine. They'll be fine. I mean, what kind of species would be so lazy as to not want to repopulate their pandas? Oh, excuse me. Where's the... Oh, well. But I don't have any Fellfire. I'm a paladin. All I can do is burn them with the light. No, that was an elder. A really big, fat bull. A.k.a. alpha male. Dakota.
Who is this that speaks?
So here's the shield.
Travel the wastes with care.
Here's the armor.
Stay warm.
Here's the heart.
May your nets always be full.
Staff. With this satchel are the artifacts you recovered. Locate the burial mounds on Shield Hill, where the items were originally stolen, and return the artifacts. It is my hope that this gesture will quell the spirits now haunting our ground.
Visit again when you can.
Excellent. Yeah, by the way, the way you actually do that quest, you gather a whole bunch of fish. On average, I needed about 18, was my usual. I actually figured that out, because I was actually raising their rep to Exalted once upon a time. You need about 18 of them. And you go and you fling a fish at him, then you walk away, and then you fling a fish at him, then you walk away. You just fling fish at him, trying to literally drag him to the other side of the reef until finally he gets there, and then he finds Twoo-Wov, and this really big heart pops up over his head. Alright, let's return these artifacts. Surely these Valkyr, who are evil, will be positively impacted by us returning their thing. Here you go. Here's your artifacts. Your offering has come too late, little one. Can you feel the mist closing upon you? The Kvaldir return. And by return, I mean they're coming up here for absolutely no discernible reason. From the mist and the fog, the Kvaldir approach. Flee while you still breathe the air of the living. Oh, wow, Stukov. That's way better than when I did this. Granted, I haven't done those dailies since, in Wrath, when I was pushing it to Exalted. Look to the seas as your doom comes with the swell of the tides. My brothers have awoken. Your efforts are wasted. Well, to summarize, we just went through that entire quest chain to get these artifacts back to the dead so they would stop rampaging and stop cursing the area. And their response is, screw you, we're gonna be cursed anyways. The Kvaldir are coming. So that was an excellent usage of our time, wasn't it? Sure happy we bothered. Sigh. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up this quest, even though we're not actually going to be doing it yet.
Better be good.
Just to make sure I don't have to deal with it later. As a reminder, basically. We'll talk a little bit more about the Kvaldir and who they really are later. Excuse me. We'll also talk about Odin when we do so. See, Odin is Chris Hemsworth, right? And he doesn't understand what... No, I'm done.
I will hear you.
Return to our elder. He and the rest of my people must be warned of this impending doom that approaches from the sea. Use the ancient lift to reach him. Please hurry!
Good hunting.
Well, he did tell me to use the lift, so... one last time, for old time's sakes. I'll use the lift, because I don't plan on even doing these quests on the Alliance, so this will basically be the last time here. Only if you do it in a certain way, God mode. So, no. Oh, you're right, it is Anthony Hopkins, my bad. Chris Hemsworth was Thor. Whoops. They look so similar. Yeah, no, Anthony Hopkins, excuse me, is Odin. And, I don't know what else to add to that. Anyways, I hope he's dead. But yeah, it depends. Right now I am deliberately extremely overpowered God mode because it speeds up the Lorerun. When I'm normally playing through, whether or not I'm overpowered depends on
welcome.
if I want to just blaze through the quests and enjoy the story, or if I want to actually be challenged as I'm going up. You can kind of set it up either way. The Kaluak thank you for all you've done, Valvaxis. We must now prepare for battle and warn our brothers and sisters across the sea of what is to come. I hope it is not too late. Because, spoiler alert, it's totally too late. The Kvaldir are already attacking in the Borean tundra. For right now, you know what I think we should do, guys? I mean, we've helped these people, and we've made peace with the pirates, and we've killed a lot of Alliance, but we've also gone after those Vrykul. I think the best thing at this point, I think our greatest success, I think we need to go and assist the Forsaken. I mean, the last time we helped the Forsaken out, everything worked out for the best for everyone forever. That's the one, Permeus. Are they still around? Because I haven't heard about them literally in years. Like years and years and years. So, yeah. Alright, going to get picked up this flight path. What I'm going to do is something kind of weird here. There we go.
Hello.
Don't worry, I've got a very non-evil plan.
Better be good.
Okay, now that we've done all that. Bowels, that's true. We were having the abomination explode villages. Oh wow, I didn't know they were a thing anymore, Permeus. I might buy a figurine at some point in the future then. I'll have to decide really carefully which transmog I want to wear for it though. Do they do transmog, Permeus, or do you have to actually be wearing the gear when it happens? Speaking of what Narlix just said, so who here would like to hear something that we'll never hear in Legions, but that I genuinely think would be really awesome to happen in Legions? Would anyone like to hear it? I raised my eyebrow at you, Hylisk. Let's see, so we got the green there, purple there. I'll turn that back on. That weird thing. That weird thing. Hang on. Go. And voila! I give you the Skittles suit. It's not as multicolored as I'd like, but it does represent most of the major colors, and it also looks terrible, which is kind of the point of the Skittles suit. Check it out. I am totally someone who is questing through Outland right now. I hope you enjoy and approve. Oh, wow, Pervious. That's pretty expensive. Actually, hang on. I did one thing wrong. Give me just a moment. Also, hi, Ricky. Where's, is it here? Okay. Here we go. Now we've got a cloak, too, just to really add to it. A completely doesn't match anything cloak. Yes! Yes! Behold! Yes, Midgar Storm, why do you ask? Yeah, the green shoulder pads just really help sell it. Anyway, so some of you would like to hear what I would like to have happen in Legion. Now, I know you're going to just look at me like, oh, you're crazy and stupid and insane and I hate you! But, I think we should lose in Legion. I think we should fail in the Legion. And we should be beaten back, broken, and at the end of it, lose. And we would then have to recover from a position of extreme weakness in the next expansion. I think we should have our darkest moment, in other words. I believe that's what it's referred to as in writing tropes. The darkness before the dawn kind of a situation. But in order to have the dawn, you have to have the darkness. So, yeah, I think we should just lose. I think the Legion should crush us in Legion. And then I think the next expansion after that would be us trying to recover and having, like, none of the backing and none of the standing and none of the power we had before. Now, there's two reasons I think this. Well, three, actually. Number one, the obvious thing I just mentioned. From a writing perspective, it leads into that wonderful arc of the darkness before the dawn, when you just get the living crap beaten out of you, and you can just barely survive the situation, and then you have to try and make do with what you have. In fact, I don't wish to spoil anything for anyone, but it's kind of like XCOM 2, you know? Starting off with, like, nothing, and trying to drag your way up from there. Okay? I just talked about it, Ricky. I didn't actually play anything for it, really. So, it's the first reason I think we should do that. Reason number two, I know this sounds weird, but speaking as someone who's played MMOs since 1996, I want to say, at the very least 1998, we always win in MMOs. Now, it's logical why we always win in MMOs, because they want you to keep playing an MMO. It's a repeating, continuing story. But given how much of a strong story focus we've started having in MMOs, especially WoW, which is getting more story focused every expansion, I think the story should take the precedence there over the gameplay concept of we're always going to win at the end of the day. If I could use a parallel, and if you watch Star Trek, one of the only things I really don't like about older Star Trek is, with very few exceptions, at the end of the day, the good guys win. It kind of saps away some of the drama, some of the tension, when you know things are going to work out. Not knowing anymore that things are going to work out, having the possibility of things not work out, would be something that I think would be really, really awesome and helpful to MMOs. No spoilers, Last Echo. I know what you're talking about, but other people probably don't. So that's the second reason, I think. But the third reason is probably the most important reason of all. And that's the reason that I just forgot. Hang on, where am I? There's the Forsaken Camp. What was the third reason? I was just thinking about this, and then I got confused and distracted. Third reason is because it fits the natural progression of our character arc. So we started off as a nobody, basically. A nobody who happened to be exceptional, but still a nobody. And then we made our way through Vanilla, and we made our way through Outland. By the time we got to Wrath, we started actually working together underneath most of the major names of the setting. By the time we got to Cataclysm, we were working alongside most of the big names in the setting. when we hit Pandaria, we were suddenly the center focus of attention. And by the time we got to Warlords, we were the ones who were actually commanding most of the armies and forces underneath us. In Legion, we will be the ones in charge of even the other heroes. We will be the ones on top of everyone else. We'll effectively be the new class and racial and otherwise leaders. We will be at the top of the as high up as we're going to get, in other words. Now, speaking as a writer and a game designer, one of the things you want to do is have a character arc continue to progress, even for the player character. There are not many directions to go through, once you've already reached the point at which you're basically on charge of everything. However, one of the directions you can take that, not the only one, but one of the directions you can take that in is you lose. You lose everything, and now that you've crawled your way up from the bottom up to the top, now you have to deal with a completely different type of threat where you have an absence. Because even when we were crawling up from the bottom, we were still crawling up within the Forsaken, within the Dwarves, within the Alliance, within the Horde. We were the ones who we still had backing. We still had other people on our side. We still had an organization. Now we're at the bottom with nothing. There's like a few scant survivors of the Legion invasion. A few people left who are trying to make do with the almost total lack of resources and material and manpower that we have. You know? So it's a different kind of threat. It's a different direction we can go in with that. And it'll never happen. But I think it'd be awesome. Also, now to read some quests. So, I came here to investigate a rumor about a scourge presence nearby. I expected murlocs along the coast down below, but I never thought I'd see this. The scourge are down there, and they're changing murlocs and anything else they can get their hands on into the walking dead. Paladin, we will not suffer them to create more of their kind, especially not from murlocs. There's a ramp down to the beach to the northwest. See to it that you deal with the scourge in a timely fashion. Has Malthus drawn you... Oh, okay, so this is good. To the southeast is an area called Whisper Gorge. It's overrun with members of the Explorers League who've gone mad. They've attacked our caravan as it passed through the area and harried our foraging parties as well. I must know what's causing this madness. I suspect it's whatever they're drinking from the kegs around the gulch. I want you to steal the kegs while they're mining. Okay, I can do that. But the other guy right next to him says, has Malthus drawn you in with his blather about beer kegs and crazy dwarves? I'm not questioning that the dwarves are crazy, but I don't think stealing their beer is going to do any good. What we need is brains. Lots of brains! We'll get to the bottom of this mystery in no time, and maybe even find a new component for the plague. Take this saw, go southeast into Whisper Gulch, and kill yourself some dwarves. Use this saw to help you harvest the brains. I'm sorry, I want to stress this for a moment. We are harvesting brains with a saw. Anyways. So what Hylas just said reminds me of something. Did you know that developers are not always correct? You're probably looking at me like, huh? Let me explain what I mean by that. So, clearly, you know what? I agree. Let's get a pickaxe to do this next time. So once upon a time, there's a developer who's like, you know, y'all have to understand. Okay, so there was a player who was asking a developer, why is it that we can't play Forsaken that are other races? Now, there are some valid answers to that question, but this particular developer said, and I'm just going to paraphrase this as best as I can to not, misinterpret the information. All of the Forsaken are the Forsaken that happened during Warcraft 3. Any given time, anyone who was part of the Forsaken, they are one of the people who was actually converted to the Forsaken from the war in Warcraft 3 when the Scourge invaded, and then were brought back as undead by Sylvanas or by the Scourge during Frozen Throne. So therefore, the only possibility for anyone to play a Forsaken is a human, because clearly the only ones who were actually killed during the Scourge's invasion of Lorerun were humans. I'm going to pause for a moment for you to already understand why this guy is wrong, but then I'm going to continue, because you really have to understand how this guy is wrong. The next thing he did was he said something very condescending. He said, undead does not equal Forsaken. As if the person in question here was someone who was so mundanely stupid as to not understand that incredibly basic concept that a faction does not equal a race, or a categorization in this case. On a high population server? You know what? Yes, I think I would, Proto. High population servers tend to be a lot of fun, especially nowadays, in my experience. At least as long as you've got some friends to go play with. That's really my thing. If you've got a bunch of other friends you can play with it, yeah, absolutely. If you have no one, a high population server is actually a pretty good way to make some friends. Even nowadays, I still meet people every now and again in WoW who are pretty cool. Yeah, there should have been lots of dwarves and elves, but ignoring that, so let's go ahead and really analyze why that developer is completely wrong. Let's give factual evidence why that guy's wrong, okay? Reason number 1, Cataclysm. When you play a brand new character in Cataclysm, you do not play an ex-Scourge. You play a brand new person who is just rezzed, just then, the moment you make that character, by a Valkyr. Someone who had nothing to do with the events of Warcraft 3 or the events of Frozen Throne. Point 2, Cataclysm. One of the next things we see the Valkyr do, and one of the next things we see the Forsaken do, is bolster their own ranks by going out of their way to go down and kill lots of people and bring them back up as undead. That's 2 definitive, in-the-game, provable, factual, no way to look around the information, pieces of evidence that prove that that developer is 100% wrong. That's ignoring the other evidence, which I'm not even getting into. So, like I said, yeah, also the dead in Lorerun were only human, which, like I said, we're not even getting into how stupid that is. So, bottom line, I mention this because some lore crafters, some theory crafters tend to look at anything that the developers say, anything that the writers say as 100%, this is the absolute truth that cannot be denied. It's referred to as Word of God, actually. That's the trope of it. It's the Word of God, the word of the developers that says, this is true always and forever. Unfortunately, as I've pointed out before, that's not true, especially when developers disagree with each other. So, I'm one of those people who tends to take a more interpretive viewpoint of what is canon, of what is lore, of what is factual. And I will usually bother to make a distinction saying, in my thoughts, this is blah, 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 but this is what they actually say. And I've mentioned things about that with regards to Kael'thas and with regards to Illidan back in BC, in both cases. The dead scar. I mean, just... Anyways, so this is a Murloc who's willing to talk to us. From the scratches he makes in the rock, you see several symbols. A trident, a Murgul, the sun, a wrecked ship, and a rough stick figure of yourself who has terrible armor on for some reason. Puzzling what the Murloc is conveying takes a while. Obviously he wants you to get a trident from the coast, but the image of the sun is puzzling until he realizes he means his son. His son was changed into a Murgul. He wants you to find him and return with his trident. Okay, we can do that for him. Murlocs are one of the very, 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 very few sentient and sapient races who do not normally speak common. Which I only point out because the vast majority of sentient and sapient beings who can speak common I'm sorry, the vast majority of the sentient and sapient beings who, you know, exist speak common. That's across worlds, by the way. That's it. I'm a Murloc right now, guys. Insert the song that I'm not going to play because copy wrong. That's funny since I have 2 undead who are both tanks, Hylisk. I have a Forsaken and a Death Knight. But yeah, this Murloc quest giver does not speak common, so he had to try and convey to us what he wanted with pictographs. Obviously intelligent, just can't speak with us. The Scourge device you just destroyed, the Scourge creature you just destroyed had this device in its clutches. It had a jewel set into it, which seems similar to scourging crystals. Maybe the apothecaries would like to see this. Oh, whatever, Meat Fist. Whatever. I'm not even going to dignify that one. One of the things that's always really bothered me about the language barrier, like, if the language barrier was a lore thing and not a purely gameplay thing, can you imagine what every cutscene would be like? So there's Garrosh lying defeated on the ground, and Thrall's like, "You are dead," and then Varian interferes and says, blah, 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 blah. And Thrall says, "What?" And Varian's like, blah, 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 and Thrall's like, "Huh? Can I help you, Varian?" Meanwhile, Varian is seeing Thrall going, "Hey, Scottish, what's up, dude? Haven't seen you in a bit." Yes, I do, Psychotic, but I forget why. The Chinese version of WoW had to have a lot of censorship go into it. I don't remember the full list. I remember it's partially because of the way China does things. But yeah, the Chinese version of WoW couldn't even come out for a long time because they just were going through censoring tons and tons and tons of things. Yeah, brr, keck, brr. That's all they say to each other. It's the only thing they say. Gilfa vodava gilfa. Gilfa dashkava gilfa. Gilfa raba gilfa. Ah, gotcha, Scottish. Well, I hope things haven't been too bad. I should find a list of everything that's been censored in the Chinese version. It's quite extensive, if memory serves. Like, quite extensive. They couldn't show any bones, if memory serves, like, at all. Like, at all, anywhere. Oh, there he is! Time to kill a Murloc's son. Yay! I suppose, obviously, I don't think the story has run its course. I will say that Warcraft 3's story has ended, but WoW's story, at least in my opinion, has not. There's still plenty of story left to go. In fact, I would say we're like halfway through the story at this point. Oh, by the way, this is... forgive me. This is for a quest we're not actually doing right now. But this is a blight specimen. Warning! Do not open. Do not break. Do not eat. Do not wear. Do not drink. Do not smell. Hang on, Psychotic. Oh god, that looks so horrifying. That looks so much worse than the actual Merogar. Holy crap. That is so terrifying. Oh my god, like all of the skeletons are people. That looks so terrifying. Like, oh my god, the abominations. Holy crap. And of course, there are no frost worms at all. They just don't exist. The giant bone guys are giant Forsaken guys, and just, oh my god. Wow. That's, Huh. Okay, anyways. I agree, actually, Hylisk, absolutely. Oh, by the way, I have a theory I'd like to share with you guys. But I'll read this quest first. One of old Icefinn's dead fish eyes studies you. He reaches out to take his son's trident from you. Old Icefinn's hand shakes a little. Could it be that the aged Murloc is grieving? Or is that just extra moisture pooling at the base of his eye? We may never know. Alright, so, just a little bit of thing. This is not a spoiler, this is something from Warcraft Chronicles. So, as we know, there is a nascent Titan somewhere in Azeroth. Based on some of the things I read, I have a new theory on who that is. I think it's Elune.
Speak quickly.
Alright, so now that I've dropped that bombshell, we just returned the kegs of whatever from the dwarves, and clearly these whatever's in these kegs is what is actually causing the dwarves to go insane. So he pours the beverage for himself. Let's see what's in these things. Let's see here. Wait a minute. It's just beer. It's just beer. There's nothing out of the ordinary about it at all. You, not a word to Grick about this, do you hear me?
What would you ask of death?
Hello.
Did you get the brains? If not, I want my saw back. You better not walk off with that saw. Ah, these brains are beautiful, gorgeous even. They're exactly what I need. Thank you for your help. Now I'll show Malthus the truth his beer goggles couldn't reveal.
Beware the living.
What is it?
A satisfactory job, and yet I sense there's something else we could be doing to stop the Scourge efforts on that beach.
Beware the living.
What's that device you have? Ah, I can tell you what this is. It's a controlling device for the Scourge crystals down there. I bet anything it can be used to shut down their fields. Look at the button on the side of the controller here. I bet if you got close enough, you could use this controller to bring the shield down. Then it'd be a simple matter of destroying the thing before the shield goes back up. Brave enough to hazard another trip down there? I can guarantee a nice reward for you if you bring those shields down. How can you refuse if it means less Scourge? Especially one made from Murlocs. Bleh.
Victory for Sylvanas.
I have just been invited to Subway. Subway! Eat fresh! Except when it's terrible. Seriously, I've been to a few Subways that are just so bad. Mostly the ones that are in Walmarts and whatnot. But yeah, I reached that conclusion as well, Ziwan. I was thinking about it, and I was also kind of reading a few tidbits about how a lot of the dark trolls got a lot of their words and their knowledge from Elune. And they started talking with Elune when they were really starting to interact with the Well of Eternity. And a lot of the words and terminology that they learned from Elune were Titan words. Titan terms, Titan concepts. So, yeah. That's pretty much the only evidence I have about that. It is, of course, also possible Elune is a Naru. It is also possible that Elune is actually a separate being, like we always assumed. I don't know which of those I like best. It would be interesting, though, because it would kind of tie in how Elune has always been relevant to pretty much all of Azeroth, really, for a long time. Oh, don't mistake me, Reflexor. I actually really like Subway. It's just there's a really big difference between a good Subway and a bad Subway. And a bad Subway is just bleh. Good Subways are not bleh. I don't know what else to add there. That would be option 3, yes, Magister. That is correct, Dakoita. Elune has provably now, thanks to the Chronicles, been in communication with the Dark Trolls. Again, that was long before they became the Night Elves.
What will you require?
I can see that you certainly have earned a choice of one of these. Oh, thank you. I'm so appreciative you think I deserve a reward.
Our time will come.
I wouldn't even say in a way, Leander. Elune has absolutely been saving Azeroth from destruction. I want to re-stress this. Given what we have now learned, I would put 100% certainty on the fact that the only reason the Titans have not re-originated Azeroth and just wiped everything out clean is because of the fact that there is a Titan in Azeroth. It's the only reason. To my knowledge, there are no Dark Trolls still around, no. I'm not saying that's not true, it's just for my information, the answer is no. While everything ever can trace their origins back to Tolkien, I don't think I could in good conscience call lithivoric artificial beings who are born from the souls of worlds who wander space trying to seed other life in other worlds the same as the Aesir and the Visir and all that fun stuff from Tolkien's origination thing, so... So these are the Tonka. We'll be talking a little bit more about them later. Fun little factoid, the Tonka have officially joined the Horde. If you're paying attention, that is 2 factions who joined the Horde in Northrend, and 0 who joined the Alliance. The only reason I bring that up is I doubt this will ever come back, but if I was the GM of this setting,
Be careful.
I would probably go ahead and have that be significant in the future. Like the fact that the Horde are the only ones who have a solid, claim to Northrend kind of a thing, But, whatever. So why we need a new Warcraft RTS, damn it. And then a Warcraft 4X! And then a Warcraft single-player RPG. And then, that's it. We'll just stop there.
What brings you here?
So.
Walk with the Earth Mother.
Let's go ahead and help these poor Tonka out, shall we?
Peace, friend.
The down of spotted hippogriff is prized by my people and used for everything from fletching to ceremonial clothing. We were making preparations to leave the post, so this is the last chance I'll get to gather it this season. With your help, I'll have enough to make sure everyone has the equipment they need for the long trek into the hills. Conditions worsen very quickly up there, and a storm can blow in without warning. The down can be covered from all in the area surrounding the post.
Watch.
By the way, this is actually a nice little tidbit. These Tonka are flat out evacuating. On the one hand, they're pressed by the Vrykul. On the other hand, they've been harassed by the Alliance, who assume that they are Tauren, which therefore makes them their enemy. I just love that little tidbit, by the way. I actually just kind of said it, Proto. I mean, okay, so back in the old days, there were the Titans. Now, Titans are actually born out of the souls of worlds. I don't have more information about that, because it doesn't exist yet. Titans are non-organic life. They are artificial life, similar to intelligent golems, kind of thing. Just massive in scale. Very, very advanced. They travel through space, looking for other Titans. That was pretty much their goal in life. As they go from planet to planet, they try to order the planet that they come across in what they believe to be an orderly fashion. Do note that order does not mean good. The Titans are not necessarily the good guys. They're just trying to make things nice and organized. Usually they would craft planets in a way that they felt to be aesthetically appealing to them. So they would make what are referred to as seed races, aka artificial creatures, kind of like the original Earthen or the Mechanomes, right? So they craft all these creatures on a planet, set it in order, move on to the next one. After quite a while of doing this, they came across a planet that had a tremendous amount of energy and power pouring through it. That would be Azeroth, which is the next world. This power and energy, we don't 100% sure know where it came from, but given the information that we just shared, it is likely that power and energy is the birth of a new Titan that's going to be born of the soul of Azeroth, which obviously has not actually concluded yet, or has concluded and the Titan's still here. We're not sure. Either way. So that's... it, I guess. Otherwise, there are species who have grown naturally out of a world, like the Trolls and the Pandarans and the Tauren and the Tuskarr, and there's a few other races that have been that just basically evolved in a normal fashion. And don't know, Dakota. Doubt it though, because they keep talking about how they're looking for a new one. So I'm guessing most of the worlds they were ordering did not have souls to work with. Anyways, I guess that's it, because everything after that isn't really a creation myth so much as here's what happened from that point on. You know, there's no myth involved. We have never actually seen a Titan yet in-game, ever, actually. We have had glimpses of the avatar of Sargeras, but we have never actually seen a Titan. So, we have seen the servants of the Titans. We have seen the Watchers, as what they're referred to as, very, very powerful, empowered artificial creatures, such as Tyr, such as Odin, such as Thorim. You know, we'll be encountering quite a few. So the gentlemen who are in Ulduar, those were the Watchers of the Titans. So again, servitors, basically. Dios, that is a good question. I do not have an answer for you, unfortunately. The information that Titans are born from worlds is very, very new. Literally, that just came to light like last Friday. It has changed quite a bit of the understanding of the mythos, but we don't have more details yet. Humans are originally Vrykul, which I'll be talking about a little bit more when we go through the Howling Fjord on the Alliance. But basically, there was a race of earthen, stone-like creatures which were called the Vrykul. They were created by the Titans to be servitors. Eventually, they were afflicted by the Curse of Flesh. The Curse of Flesh transformed them into fleshy creatures, organic creatures, instead of the more artificial creatures, right? Those creatures, now the Curse of Flesh affected the Vrykul and the Earthen a little bit differently than every other race. In the Earthen's case, some of them were turned into dwarves, and some of them turned into trogs. I'll talk about that later. In the Vrykul's case, it turned some of them into the Vrykul, the giants, and some of them into humans. And so, yeah, exactly, Stukov, exactly. Anyways, so some of the humans were basically a mutation, a warped, cursed version of Vrykul. Similar to Vrykul in every way, just much smaller. Now, there's actually a big story about that, which I really don't want to share right now, but the long and the short of it is, that's where humans came from. We are a mutation of a cursed race that was crafted by the Titans.
You wish to speak?
My people have been hunting the giant yeti of these hills for generations, and I will be participating for the first time this year. It may be the last before we leave this post forever. To prepare for the hunt, I must fashion a loud horn from the horns of the dire rams that roam the snowy areas near our camp. The elders tell me the sound mimics the mating call of the yeti, but I have my doubts.
May the eternal sun shine upon thee.
What brings you here?
If you're to survive here, you may as well learn to face the environment's challenges head on. The elements will claim your life if you are not vigilant, as the proliferation of elements in these northern hills shows. We must call the elementals one last time before we can leave this place. Are you willing to aid us as we continue to make preparations?
May the eternal sun shine upon thee.
Alright, we're going to go ahead and pause here, because I'm going to go get, Subway. No, Archimonde is not a Titan. Archimonde is an Eridar, which has a great deal to do with the Titans, but is not a Titan himself. So, anyways, I will be back in a few minutes, guys. So, I will see you then. Then we'll finish off the Howling Fjord, and then we'll start the Howling Fjord a second time. See you guys.